What's up, guys? How's it going? This is your boy Peter Scarlett back with another video. This time I'm going to do my thoughts on my first 2.5 hours of Godfall. And the reason why I want to talk about this is just because, ooh, this game. Okay, so first off, this game feels still a little bit unpolished. I'm going to go through just what I don't like, and I'm going to reinforce it with what I do like, but a lot of this is going to be what I don't like. So frame rates were kind of bad. I put it in 4K. This is on PC, by the way. I put it on 4K and it seemed to run good. Max settings, all that. First tutorial was, my goodness. Let's just say it was next gen Breaking Boxes, the video game. There are not a lot of enemies in this game so far. I hope that changes as you go forward, but for now, there are just not a lot of enemies. There are more boxes to break, more items to break to get like health orbs and whatever currency I think it is. Then there are enemies to fight, and I think that's kind of where this game starts to suffer. It's just that there's not enough enemies to fight. Like I feel like I should be fighting more enemies as I'm moving through the areas, but all I find more are just boxes and boxes and boxes. So I streamed the first 2.5 hours. If you guys want to check that out, you can. It'll be down here on the channel. But yeah, just was not impressed. And I'm not saying you have to be impressed with, the very start of the game, but at least give me something that makes me want to play the game even more. The only thing I was interested in was the Warhammer, and I got one early. Got one off the first couple waves of enemies that I fought during the tutorial. And while that was fun, it kind of made me realize how much I don't like the combat. The combat is kind of sluggish. And yeah, you have a parry. It's very Dark Souls-ish, but even with Dark Souls, it has a better lock-on system. And the lock-on system in this game made me feel kind of weird. Like the lock on is there, but it you kind of have to press it a couple times, and even still, sometimes it doesn't lock on all the way. Also, the camera doesn't move with you completely, so like when you're dodging, the camera stays still, and you dodge kind of away from the camera, which is kind of weird because the fact that you attack where the camera's facing kind of makes it very difficult when you're fighting a boss, which you fight like a boss enemy right at the start, kind of through the beginning of the game. No spoilers or anything, just saying what it is. He's kind of like a boss enemy. He's got a big heavy weapon, and when you dodge, or even with the mobs with their heavy weapons, when you dodge off screen, or like the camera stays exactly where it is and you dodge. So then when it comes to like dodging forward and the enemy's behind you, you have to take all that time to turn the camera around to then strike them. So I don't know if there's an option in the settings, because I was trying to look for it, where you could attack without needing to attack whichever way the camera's facing, but I didn't see that option. Kind of like in Warframe, if you played Warframe. Speaking of Warframe, this game kind of feels like Warframe a lot. The game overall feels like a mixture of Warframe, Destiny, Anthem, and like Dark Souls and something else. I forgot what the fifth game is, but the Valor plates, they are different genders. And I say that because they have voices. So there are voice actors. The first one you get, the one with the lion's mane, the one that's on the cover, that's a male voice. And then Phoenix, the one that you're seeing now, that has a female voice. But they still refer to you by the same name. So I'm curious if this is like Warframe, where you're someone else piloting the suit from a distance, or if you're actually in the suit, or if you're a spirit possessing the suit. Like, I'm very confused on that, and there was nothing that really kind of like talked about that so far. So I'm still very interested. I have more questions about this game overall than I have answers. And at the start, you're not really going to get too many answers. But I'm very confused about a lot of things where I want to know what's going on, but I'm not getting any dialogue to tell me what's going on. You can't jump in the game, which is kind of weird. You can dodge, and to get to certain areas, you have to teleport using this icon that you'll see over here. It's above my head, but for greater distances, you hold the B button on an Xbox controller or a circle on a PlayStation controller, and it teleports you over there. You can also do it during battle. If there's someone rushing you, you can teleport to another area, which was pretty cool. That was one of the things that I did like about the combat system, was if that teleport option was there and I needed to get away quick because they were going to do like an unblockable move or a unparryable move, I could just get away, get some distance, heal up. But overall, the dodging feels really stiff. The characters feel stiff. I had multiple issues with just getting the game to stay stable on PC, and it's not like the game is horribly like stressful on my system. Like, I have a 2060 Nvidia. I have an AMD Ryzen 8. Like, my build is pretty good. It can handle everything. So for me to see it kind of just be weird with the different settings, like between windowed, for some reason when I put it into windowed full screen, it dropped all anti-alias, and even though the anti-alias was on, it just like the quality of the game just horrifically decreased. So I had to keep putting it back on full screen. And you can see that on the stream. I went through the settings at the very start of the stream. But just so many things that I just was not happy about with this game, just not excited about, or things that felt like the game needed to be optimized. And that was kind of the thing that got me, is that the whole game feels like it's still a work in progress. And I don't mean that as in like, of course they're going to keep adding more content, the game, they're going to add more and more and more, they said they were going to add more content, but no, the game right now feels like it's still work in progress. I don't know if there's going to be another patch later today or something to fix this issue. That's kind of why I'm getting this video out now, because the game just feels really unstable at times. The frames will drop randomly. Like when I try to lock on in battle, it'll do nothing. It'll just sit there. Like even right now on screen, I'm trying to lock on to the character and it's doing nothing. So like just trying to like switch between enemies or lock on, lock off, like it doesn't really work too well. Another thing is just like the combat, it just feels lackluster. There's really nothing pulling me in where I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah, combat. Like for a melee game, it feels like a watered down version of Warframe. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but just like Warframe has fast, action paced, twitchy combat, but their melee combat is what I love about Warframe. I've always loved their melee combat. This game has melee combat, but it's more like Dark Souls. That's the best way I can put it, because when I got the Greatsword, that was when I realized what I was playing. The Greatsword has the same animations as a Greatsword in Dark Souls, where it has that heavy swing from left to right, and it's actually the identical animation to the Greatsword swing in Dark Souls. But just that normal swing, it made me feel like, okay, I think I know what this game is about. And even with heavy weapons like the Warhammer, you kind of have like, I kind of want to say like kind of like super armor while you're swinging it sometimes, depending on the enemy. And you can take a lot of damage, but at the same time, you can't cancel those animations. So you can't go into a swing and cancel it by dodging or by pulling out your shield. And I don't like that. I feel like you should be able to cancel your swing and pull out your shield, or at least have an option to just dodge or something like that. The dodging just feels very clunky, very slow. I always feel like I'm overweight. Even when I switch to this female Valor plate, which she seems like she should be more agile, more moving, like she's She's constantly in the flow of battle, and she just felt very stiff and just like it didn't matter what weapon I used, whether if it was dual swords, great sword, long sword. Yeah, it didn't matter. She felt the same way all the way through. Another thing I just kind of didn't like was like the UI functionality. The UI functionality just feels really clunky. Also, this game feels a lot like Anthem. Now that I remember, it feels a lot like Anthem at launch, like where the menus were kind of just everything about the game was just and like you're playing it and you're like, I can play it, I can have fun, but I can enjoy what I'm playing, just going through the motions of basic gameplay, but at the same time it feels like there's something weighing you down, or like there's something like resisting you going through the game and just playing it naturally, which is my problem with this game so far. So like I said, I hope they do a patch to fix a lot of these issues, at least on PC, because I don't know how it's going to be on PS5. I hope it's a better experience on PS5. But for this to be a game that's on the PS5 and PC, I'm not getting good vibes from this so far. Like, I just feel like there's potential, and that's it. It feels like Anthem in that respect, where it's like there's potential here, but that's all I'm gonna keep saying is that there's potential. Yeah, and I don't want to go on for hours, but the game definitely has its moments where it shines, and I do like that. But it just feels weird. It feels clunky. It feels slow. It feels like it's very stiff, and I want more movement. Like, I want the dodging to be more fluent. Right there is where I teleported out of combat. That's what I was talking about, where you can't really jump to places. You don't have a jump, you have a dodge, but when you see that large icon, you can teleport to it. But it's just like, I like how they telegraph the AoEs and stuff. I don't like how the weapons do elemental damage and you can't tell that the elemental damage is there. So like a couple of the weapons I was using, they had fire element to them, and I didn't notice it until I read it in the menu. I was using this Warhammer for like the entire tutorial, and it never set people on fire. It never did fire damage, or at least fire damage in a way that I could see it and it would make sense. So like, I want more out of the game. I don't have a wow factor yet, or there's nothing that's making me go, oh yeah. Like, there's nothing about this game where I'm just like, yes. Like, Destiny 2 right now is at that state where the game looks amazing, it plays amazing, it feels amazing. There's like a wow factor to it. There's excitement about it. Godfall is just like, what's going on? And that's how I felt about the game too. Like, even as I was going through the tutorial, it took me an hour to get through that tutorial because I was just so bored. Like, it was telling me things that I already knew, like how to parry with the shield. I'm like, okay, it's just like Dark Souls, no difference. Yeah. There was a character talking to me, and I had no clue who the character was, and they were talking about stuff where I'm like, what's going on? Like, I have so many questions, and the voice acting is great, but it doesn't really explain too much. I feel like there should be more dialogue in this game, but there just isn't. As far as the soundtrack, the music is amazing. Like, it's beautiful. I'm really loving how they did this. Whoever was the composer, whoever worked on the audio for the sound and sound effects, and oh my god, the sound effects are really good. Like, audio wise, this game is amazing. And I think the game, again, has potential. I just think it needs something more. It needs a little bit more tweaking to it, so that it's not so stiff. It's not so forward driven. It's not so locked into like this kind of. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like imagine if you were playing Dark Souls, but you could only attack where the camera's facing. As slow as the gameplay is, the dodging is a little bit better in Dark Souls, but as slow as the gameplay is in Dark Souls, if you couldn't attack just in any direction, like the camera could be facing forward, but you can still swing a weapon back in the opposite direction of the camera. You can't do that here. So it feels really clunky when you dodge forward. Like I said, dodging forward, they're behind you. You have to like turn or back up, and they've already turned around and hit you by then. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna go on forever, but just the game just feels like there's something off. Like it's not polished, like it's not finished. Um it feels like it does need a little bit of tweaking. It needs a little bit of stabilization. It needs a little bit more optimization before like a lot of people really jump into it and like start getting into it really heavily, which they probably already are because I'm pretty sure a lot of people got the deluxe and have already started playing it, but the game still feels like it needs work. And to me, the biggest thing is there are not enough enemies. That's my biggest thing. There are not enough enemies, and the combat flow just doesn't feel good. Like dodging does not feel good. Some of the animations don't feel good. The camera really feels bad. Sometimes I just stopped dodging and just started sprinting, just put my sword away and just sprinted around instead of dodging or trying to like engage the enemy. I would just wait for an opening and just attack, and that would seem to work. Because it just, I don't know. Like I said, the game just feels off, and once you play it, you understand what I'm saying. Like it just has this strange feeling to it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just that it just needs to be patched. Maybe it's because they need to do some more internal testing. Maybe, I don't know. But right now, I feel like I'm playing an unfinished game. I feel like I'm playing like the beta. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna keep playing it to see if it gets better. Hopefully it does. But even just like trying to follow the story and trying to follow the dialogue is even a challenge, because it's just like, what are you guys talking about? You know, the main character has a brother, and I'm like, whoa, is that a brother? Now I'm questioning it, because if the main character went from a male suit to a female suit and the voice changed, you know, each Valor plate has its own signature voice, then is our character just non-binary? Because that makes sense. Too many questions. I have too many questions, and it's weird. So like I said, hopefully things change. Hopefully things get better. I'm gonna keep playing the game, but I'm probably not gonna stream it because I just don't feel comfortable playing it on stream. It's just kind of boring to me, and I don't want it to be in-game culture, but this seems like it has to be in-game culture to be good, and I really don't like that. So that'll be it for me. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys to decide. To me, like I said, it just doesn't feel right. And if the devs are watching, if they come across this video, I mean, I'm giving you the best that I can, like the best that I can try to explain it. I really love that kill. That was awesome. Beating the guy with his own weapon. But it just feels clunky. It doesn't feel smooth. It doesn't feel like it's optimized. That's the best way I can put it to the game. The game just feels like it needs to be a little bit more optimized, a little bit more polished. And then I think it'll start to feel better. But right now, I'm just not interested. Yeah, just not interested. But all right, I'll check you guys out in the next video. That'll be it for me. I hope you guys are enjoying Godfall. I hope Eric's is on his channel and his group. I hope they're enjoying it, because Eric's has been covering this game since before. I think since the moment it got announced, he's been covering this game, and watching his videos has been very intuitive. I can't wait to try out the multiplayer, because they never showed footage of that during trailers or dev talk, and that's kind of where I'm very curious if this game is going to hold up well in multiplayer. Yeah. All right. I'm out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.